Your choice, peaches, plums, or nectarines, only $2.99 per pound. Fresh USDA bone-in strip steak, $14.99 per pound. Schmidt Italian sliced bread, 20-ounce loaf, hot price $4.39. Scott paper towels, choose a size roll, $2.59. Save $1.60 on Purex liquid laundry detergent, 50-ounce bottle, hot price $4.99. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Daylight saving time begins this weekend, so set those clocks and watches ahead by 1 hour before you head off to bed Saturday night. Officially, that's 2 a.m. Sunday morning. So remember, spring ahead, a reminder from the Bermuda Broadcasting Company.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Tuesday, March the 5th, 2019. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us. It was a rest day for parliamentarians debating the finances of each ministry as yesterday tourism and transport took the spotlight, and Bermuda could lose a very important flight to the island. Mike Sharp brings us up to date.
Hundreds of man-hours have gone into building Bermuda's airlift and tourism. Well, Tourism Minister Zane de Silva mentioned during his ministry's debate that Skyport and American Airlines are at odds over marketing matters and that the airline will be withdrawing one of its daily flights. OBA backbencher Michael Dunkley wants Minister de Silva to have dialogue with AA and Skyport to reach a compromise.
I was quite surprised at the remarks by the minister yesterday in regards to American Airlines. I believe he said a flight would be lost, and that the minister seemed to be blaming Skyport for the not-so-rosy picture about flights coming to Bermuda. First, in the tourism debate, it was very hard to get answers from the minister. And at one point he said, well, if you want to get some answers on the budget for the triathlon, write a parliamentary question. That's not what the budget debate's about. So we kept pushing, and finally we did get some answers. Look, it's getting a little bit old. It's getting a little bit tiring for the government to continue to blame the airport deal, which has been reviewed every which way and Sunday. So if this government believes that they're just going to blame the airport deal for something that they can't make work, and in this case, airline capacity and lift coming into Bermuda, it's not acceptable. Maybe there's challenges between the minister and Skyport, but that's what it requires when you're in those leadership positions, is to work through those challenges. And the minister continues to berate that agreement. I suggest that rather than make excuses, let's get out there, protect our airline lift. Our airline partners are great partners. They've certainly got their business parameters they're trying to work through. They're hard bargainers, and we have to be at the table and show what Bermuda has to offer as well.
The former premier recently tabled questions in the House as to how much were the 3 Fintech consultants paid.
I did put the question. I got the answers. There were 3 contracts, as you said. One for just under 4 months for $70,000, one for 3 months for $60,000, $20,000 a month, and one for $109,000 for this current calendar year. Look, everyone wants government to be successful by bringing more business to Bermuda. I have supported Fintech all along. In fact, Grant Gibbons was one who started pushing it under the OBA government. This government has been full of hype, lots of talk, full of promises, spent a lot of money, made a lot of excuses, hasn't answered many questions, and we need some action on this. We need some people in Bermuda actually setting up companies, hiring Bermudians, making life better for Bermudians. And those 3 expenses we just talked about, while we want some fruit to come from that investment, Mike, I have to reflect that they probably all were unbudgeted expense items.
And I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Mike. In other news, the Premier David Byrd has insisted he's not calling for independence at this time, despite vowing to resist a number of higher intrusions into the country's affairs by the United Kingdom. Mr. Byrd, who was asked by a reporter about the so-called I word minutes after tabling a House motion showing solidarity against a UK parliamentary committee, which demanded more rights for British citizens residing here.
The I word does not work in the discussion at all. Right now, what we are talking about is a particular sense. We have a constitutional relationship right now with the United Kingdom. there are certain persons inside the House of Commons that believe that we should have a different relationship and we should serve as a province of the United Kingdom. If the 50-year settlement between our constitutional affairs will change, then I think that the people of Bermuda will have a different discussion. The motion that we've laid down is calling on the UK government to reject the recommendations. However, as we have seen, there are elements inside the UK House of Commons that wish to push these things on us despite what the government wants to say. So it is a new and dangerous territory that we're in, but from the perspective of the government, we are going to stand by our principles. We're going to stand by the Constitution which we currently have, our current constitutional settlement, which says that UK cannot legislate for our own affairs. And if the United Kingdom changes that position, then we'll have decisions to make here.
Coming up, the state of Bermuda's education, more on the Wage Commission and the latest from AccuWeather. Stay with us.
Our Tempur-Pedic gives us the best night's sleep ever.
I recommend my Tempur-Pedic to everybody.
The most highly recommended bed in America just got better. Introducing the all-new, reinvented Tempur-Pedic. Designed with the most pressure-relieving material we've ever created and superior cool-to-touch technology. It adapts and responds to your body's unique needs throughout the night for your deepest, most rejuvenating sleep.
At Furniture Walk, furnishing Bermuda's homes for over 30 years. 12 Harvey Road, Paget, 292-5209.
Attention, Honda drivers. You and your passenger safety may be at risk. There are recalls underway to repair affected Takata airbags for free. Sharp metal fragments from airbag explosions have injured and killed vehicle occupants. Free airbag repairs on affected vehicles. If you own a 2001 to 2016 Honda vehicle, come to one of our free airbag repair events. Repairathon, Friday to Sunday at Auto Solutions, 61 St. John's Road, Pembroke, on March 8th, 9th, and 10th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Repairs will be conducted while you wait. No appointment necessary. Food and refreshments will be provided. Repairs are approximately 45 minutes. For more information or to schedule an appointment for another day, call Auto Solutions at 441-295-5000. Please check if your vehicle is affected by visiting hondacars.bm/recalls. At Honda, we care about your safety. So if you or anyone else you know could be driving an affected vehicle, please take action immediately.
The Bermuda Olympic Association's Women in Sport Committee invites you to be the champion of your life. A banquet and expo on March 8th and 9th at the Fairmont Hamilton Princess. In celebration of International Women's Day, our illustrious banquet keynote speakers are U.S. Olympians Hazel Clark and Gerald Miles Clark, while a panel of some of Bermuda's top female athletes, past and present, will be featured at the expo. Join us in encouraging girls and women to be the champions of their lives. For more information, visit olympics.bm.
Welcome back. The Education Minister, Diallo Rebane, has defended the island's state of education in the face of signs of continued unrest. Our Gary Moreno raised the motions of no confidence tabled against the Commissioner of Education and Permanent Secretary, emergency meetings, and the lack of movement on standards-based grading, and asked the minister if he thought education was in a state of shambles. The minister takes another view.
I would disagree with that the public education system remains in a state of shambles. I would also go as far as to say that the majority of our teachers are dedicated professionals that are there to do what needs to be done to ensure that our children get the type of quality education that they need. Where we are having challenges is with issuing out the grades. What we have is some teachers who feel comfortable with standards-based grading are entering their information in via standards-based grading, and some teachers are still using percentages. What the commissioner has recommended under the advice of the overseas consultant that not only the Department of Education used, but the steering committee that was put in place to drive standard-based grading and to give suggestions on how we can move forward, that overseas expert has agreed that we can come up with a conversion chart for those that are using percentages to equate them to the standard-based grading 0 to 4 to enter into the system. And that's where we're just having our challenges. We're still talking with the union. We're still talking with teachers. As a matter of fact, the commissioner is doing some interviews, I believe, to just give people an understanding of where we are with that and what we're trying to accomplish. The conversion chart is something that we want to do because we have to get grades out. Parents deserve to know how their children are doing within the school. And the system is set up to receive the standard-based grading, which makes it incompatible with the percentages. So we've come up with a conversion chart that will only be used from now until the end of the term. When we come back in September, everything will be set up and everything will go in based on standard-based grading without using the percentages.
The minister is undeterred despite public criticism from Michael Charles, the General Secretary of the Bermuda Union of Teachers, who described the whole situation as an incompetent one.
That would be the opinion of the General Secretary, quite honestly, Gary. As we all know, the government has decided to use the PSNT the negotiating tool, and where there's a team of persons that negotiate, that talk to the department, talk to the BUT, and we're trying to get to a place where we can finally say we're moving forward. Unfortunately for us, we've lost time. Last summer, the BUT was made themselves unavailable to negotiate for 2 months last summer. We did not negotiate in December. We did not negotiate in January, and so things have finally picked back up in February. And what we're looking to do is do more meetings. I believe they're trying to move to 2 times a week, so we can get to the point. We want to get this over with as well. It's not something that we are deliberately stalling. It's not something that we just don't want to see the end of. But it is important that we don't rush through these processes, so we ensure that we come up with something that, as I say all the time, Gary, that is in the best interest of our students. And we have to ensure that everything that we do is in the best interest of our students, and that should be the bottom line mandate.
But you can't be having the people responsible for educating our children and doing the best for them dissatisfied, disgruntled.
Well, there are always going to be decisions that are made that some people are just not going to be happy with. When there's change to be made, whether it's good or bad, people are going to be upset. In this case, the change is good. We're moving to a standard-based grading system, and the change is good. You even hear the teacher say the change is good. We're just moving through a transition period right now, and once we get through that transition period, I think we'll all see the benefit of what we're trying to do now.
In other news, the Labor, Community Affairs and Sport Minister Levita Fogo tonight promising that government will fully consult all stakeholders before reaching final conclusions on what the island's minimum and living wage should be. Ms. Fogo announced yesterday that legislation will soon be tabled in Parliament to create a wage commission, which will be responsible for setting the wages independently by way of key stakeholders. In a preview of an interview to air tomorrow, Try Trott asked the minister for her idea on what wages should be.
Do you have a number in mind that you can share?
Well, the way in which I will answer this is that the Joint Select Committee, through their calculations, came up with a minimum wage hourly rate of $12.25, and the suggested living wage, I think, of $18 or thereabouts. But we are going to put a commission together, and the persons on that commission will, from the evidence and research that they undertake, the consultations, will look at all of the information before them, and with that information, arrive at what figures that they think best suits our economy, and values that they believe will bring about the best outcomes for both our employers and for the employees.
Watch our newscast tomorrow to hear Tarai's full interview with the minister on the work of the incoming Wage Commission. In other news, authorities in the Crown dependency of the Isle of Man are adamant that the UK Parliament has no authority to legislate against its interests. The warning comes after a group of cross-party MPs in the Commons attempted to amend financial services legislation on Monday in a bid to force the Crown dependencies to establish public registers showing the owners behind companies. Bermuda and the Overseas Territories had the same thing done to them in the Sanctions and Anti-Money Laundering Act passed in 2018. With Bermuda declaring its advanced constitution disallows such an order from London. An Isle of Man legal expert, Paul Beckett, told Manx Radio that unlike the territories, the Crown dependencies are in a stronger position to resist intrusions from the UK Parliament. More in this report.
But constitutionally, the United Kingdom Parliament cannot legislate for the Isle of Man without our consent.
But in the past, it has happened. I mean, 69, famously, we took on the UK and lost.
Yeah, very, very, very. I think that is the exception. The point about Tynwald is that Tynwald isn't what they call a subordinate legislature. Tynwald in the Isle of Man is supreme. It's never been a subordinate legislature to the Westminster Parliament. One of the reasons being It's a damn sight older than the Westminster Parliament. Now, compare that to the overseas territories. This is the other phrase that was used this morning by the Chief Minister when you were interviewing him. They were once colonies. Their parliaments were little more than rubber stamps. If indeed they had a parliament, they would have a governor and a few councillors, and legislation would be passed in Westminster which covered the various islands, which is why much of their legislation is identical, one from the other. That never happened here. This is a crown dependency. We have an entirely different relationship. So, in the Isle of Man, if there is a conflict between an Act of the United Kingdom Parliament and an Act of Tynwald, in the Isle of Man, the Act of Tynwald prevails.
The Crown dependencies, which include Guernsey, Jersey, and the Isle of Man, have joined forces with the overseas territories in condemning that recent report from London, calling for all British citizens to have the right to vote and to run for office in any British island. Turning to weather news, more rain headed our way for our Wednesday. Let's go to AccuWeather headquarters for the details.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This forecast is brought to you by the BF&M Insurance Group. And we do have a front moving across Bermuda for tonight. So with that, some rain, gusty winds at times. And taking a look here at the current conditions, we have a temperature mild out ahead of the front. 74 degrees in St. George's, 74 in Hamilton. Humidity is 85 to 90%. That is definitely going to get knocked back behind the front. Winds right now out of the southwest, 15 to 20 knots, and waves inside the reef, 2 to 3 feet, outside are 5 to 9 feet. Taking a look at our tide times, we do have a small craft warning in effect through Wednesday night. So our first high tide comes at 8:02 p.m. and then our low tide is at 2:17 in the wee hours of your Wednesday morning. High tide number 2 comes at 8:20 in the morning, and then the next low tide is at 2:40 in the afternoon for Wednesday. Now for tonight, windy with periods of rain. We'll see wind gusts at times 40 miles per hour or better, and we'll have a low temperature of 65 degrees. Could possibly be a rumble of thunder as well. And you can see with our futurecast, that's starting off for this evening into the nighttime hours, and you can see how the winds kind of start to become gusty right along that front. This is around 3:30 in the morning, and the front will continue to progress eastward. So for tomorrow, windy, we have some rain in the morning, followed by just a shower in the afternoon or two. And it is going to still be windy, especially for the first part of tomorrow. Here, we'll take a look at some of the conditions if you're doing any traveling. Jamaica's 86 degrees, partly sunny. Barbados has showers in the area. And in Trinidad, 84 degrees. Atlanta, 47 with sunshine, so chilly there. London is 57 degrees. Now for your Thursday, we're going to have winds are going to still be breezy, not too bad for Thursday, but it will be cool. Intervals of clouds and sun. Can't rule out maybe a sprinkle, but look at the difference in temperature, 62 degrees. Friday, the winds diminish, 64 degrees, and we have a partly sunny sky with high pressure settling in. Then as we head towards the weekend, temperatures start to moderate a bit. They start to go back up. And on Saturday and Sunday, we're back up into the upper 60s with some sunshine in the forecast.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
I'm Tony Waterman. Coming up on The Breakdown this week, the longest bull run in U.S. history carries on as markets rebound sharply from a December plunge. We'll explain what's making money for Bermudian investors and the risks which could cause a March reset. Plus, the best performing stock market of 2018 was in the Caribbean. We'll tell you which market it was and what lessons Bermuda can learn from its success. And the countdown to the World Triathlon Grand Final in 2021 is on. But is Bermuda prepared to welcome the 100 disabled athletes expected to attend? We'll ask Bermuda's premier para-athlete. That's Thursday at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9.
And you're watching the Tuesday edition of Bermuda Tonight. Butterfield Bank customers were left puzzled and frustrated this week as the bank's online platform transitions to a new website address. But the bank says customers were given plenty of notice ahead of the changes. Jasmine Patterson tells us more.
A new online banking website was launched Saturday night for Butterfield personal banking customers. The bank has moved from butterfieldonline.bm to butterfieldonline.com with a new look, but users' information, the bank says, remains the same. The switch, though, has not gone without its problems. News reaching us that the new URL freezes, leaving customers unable to complete transactions. Some customers are even fearful of falling behind on credit card and other payments as a result. Furthermore, customers also complained of the inability to obtain assistance from the bank, as phones either rang busy or customers were put on hold for extended periods of time, leading them to hang up out of frustration. These issues said to have been going on since Monday morning. A spokesperson for Butterfield Bank explained that a notice appears on the old website referring customers to the new platform. Notices to customers were provided through all the bank's social media channels, online banking messaging, and in-branch signage in advance of Saturday's migration of accounts. This also included a request for customers to update their email address with the call center. They said a majority of customers who have attempted to log into the new Butterfield online website have been successful. Others, whom the bank did not have current email contact information, have had to contact the call center to provide or update their email address. As staff deals with the significant change, they said their call center is currently dealing with a high volume of queries, which has resulted in longer than usual wait times, end quote. A frequently asked questions page and user guide has been set up on the platform to alleviate these problems. However, there was no word just yet on when the technical kinks will be ironed out on the new platform.
Thanks, Jasmine. Well, Earl Basin will have all the latest sports news in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.
Avocados, hot price, 2 for $3. Fresh Purdue Oven Suffer Roaster, $1.99 per pound. Kreider 18-pack large white eggs, hot price for $2.95. Hunt's Tomato Ketchup, 35-ounce squeeze bottle for $2.99. Charmin Essentials Strong Toilet Tissue, 1 roll, hot price $1.19. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Take a test drive today at Ultimate Motors.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when two people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs. For their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
Surface Trends is proud to offer Bermuda's best selection of natural and exotic stone, carefully selected and imported from Italy and Brazil. We also stock the newest collection from Caesar Stone and Silestone. Don't forget our wide variety of gorgeous porcelain wood plank tiles, including our exclusive Bermuda cedar tile, as well as natural travertines suitable for outdoors and indoors. Bathroom and pool tiles are in stock too. Stop by our showroom at 17 Serpentine Road, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1.
Turning to sports now, Bermudian goalkeeper signs with West Ham United until the 2022 season, and Bermuda national hockey team defeats visiting Widener University at the National Sports Center. Earl Basin has tonight's sports package.
Nathan Trott has signed a deal with West Ham United that will see him at the club until 2022. Trott is excited to have the deal done.
It's a great feeling, you know, when you're working hard every day on the training pitch and, you know, you're trying to perform as best as you can in front of the manager, and, you know, your hard work finally gets noticed and you get signed a new deal. It's a great moment for me. It's good having family over, you know, for a big occasion like this. So it's always a great feeling to have, you know, people that are close to you that, you know, mean a lot to you, to have me right next to you. The season's been different compared to other seasons. This is more of like a learning season for me. When you train with two keepers who have quite a lot of Premier League experience and just top performers, I think it gets the best out of you, just training with them every day.
The Bermuda Football Association have announced the postponed FA Challenge Cup quarter-final match from February 18th between BAA and St. David's has been rescheduled for Wednesday, March 13th, with a 9 p.m. kickoff at the BAA field. The FA Challenge Cup semi-final matches that were scheduled for March 13th and 14th have now been rescheduled for Saturday, March 30th and 31st, with the venues to be confirmed. The Bermuda national hockey team took on visiting Widener University at the National Sports Center last evening and came away with a 3-1 victory. Bermuda would take the lead in the 24th minute when Georgia Harris scored a field goal. Francesca Kakachi would double the lead in the 41st minute. Krista Smith scored a field goal in the 60th minute to extend the Bermuda lead to 3-0, but in the 70th minute, Widener University would get on the board when Anna Dunn scored a field goal. Elon Daly began competing in the 2019 Spring Ontario Swimming Championships. Daly won the gold medal on day one, competing in the girls 14 and under 50-meter freestyle A final. When she clocked a time of 26:57, her time would break her own record time of 26:59. She set back on April 3rd, 2018, during the 29th Carifta Swimming Championships in Aruba. Daly would swim the anchor leg for the Attenborough Swim Club women's 15 and under 200-meter medley relay team that clocked a gold medal time of 2:02.24. Taylor Carrick continues to make his mark in his new under-19 age group category, finishing 12th in the German Junior Squash Open. Carrick won his first round match against Alvaro Martin in 3 games, 11-1, 11-6, 11-4. Carrick then had a bit of a battle against Israeli Amog Avizov, eventually winning 13-11, 21-19, 11-6. Carrick then met Yannick Wilhelm of Switzerland. Carrick took the Swiss player to 4 games before going down, 12-10, 11-6, 8-11, 11-7. Yannick would go on to win the boys under-19 division. Carrick dropped down to meet Tom Schroers from the Netherlands, winning 11-8, 11-8, 11-3. Carrick then met Campbell Wells from Switzerland, with Wells winning 11-8, 11-5, 11-8. Kenny Lejour concluded competing on the IMG Junior Golf Tour at the Stone Creek Golf Club. Lejour came off the course after his second round, finished tied 8th with a second round 1 over par 73. Lejour would pick up 20 points on the tour. Lejour would shoot 3 birdies, 11 pars, and 4 bogeys in his second round. Zoe and Jasmine Hasselkaz competed in the Claremont Draft Legal Triathlon Youth F1 division in Florida. Zoe Hasselkaz finished 9th in the female division and 27th overall with a time of 38:22. Jasmine Hasselkaz finished 9th in the female division and 30th overall with a time of 39:21. Lewis Cooper helped St. Mary's College of Maryland finish 3rd, competing in the 2019 GW team sailing race. Cooper and his teammates would finish the 6th school regatta with a record of 8 wins and 7 defeats after 3 rounds. In freezing Brookmire Continental Bowling League action at the Work Lanes, it saw the Cubs defeat the Underdogs 26.5 to 3.5. The Bermuda Pest Control defeated the Invaders 19-11, while the Spice Snakes got by New Hope 26-4. The Nifty Rollers defeated the Pinjammers 24.5 to 5.5, and the league leaders Oddballs defeated the Quickie Licky Laundry 30-0. I'm Earl Basden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Hey Smokey, let's get lunch from the Marketplace Food Court.
You know what? That sounds good.
They have oxtails, pumpkin, curried lamb, lemon chicken, sweet and sour ribs, vegetable stir fry, and the variety goes on.
Their chefs are good. They'll set you right up with all the good carvings.
And don't forget the special dishes from the island.
It don't matter. No matter what you feel like eating, Marketplace will have it.
You know, it's quick, it's quality, and at prices you can count on.
Visit us 7 days a week. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner made for you daily at the Hamilton Marketplace Food Court.
At the Bermuda Festival, we're bringing the classics to life in 2019, between March 5th and 9th. From New York, the Frazan Ensemble features the brightest of classical music's rising stars drawn from major music schools including Juilliard and Yale. Terrence McNally's play Masterclass portrays Broadway and film actress Catherine Cates as opera diva Maria Callas. For tickets, visit PTix or BermudaFestival.org. Celebrating the empowerment of women, She is Art, 44th Annual Bermuda Festival.
Daylight saving time begins this weekend, so set those clocks and watches ahead by 1 hour before you head off to bed Saturday night. Officially, that's 2 a.m. Sunday morning. So remember, spring ahead. A reminder from the Bermuda Broadcasting Company.
And on a programming note, tonight, Let's Talk with Gary Moreno changed just for this evening from its regular Monday time slot. We'll focus on the OBA's response to the budget. Gary's guest will be the Shadow Minister of Finance, Nick Kemp. Throughout tonight's show, viewers will be able to take part in real-time polling via the website menti.com. That's MENTI.com. Polling will open at 7:30 p.m. That's Let's Talk with Gary Moreno tonight at 8 p.m. here on ZBM TV 9. That's our newscast on this Tuesday evening. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
On the CBS Evening News this Tuesday, an angry and emotional R. Kelly tells Gayle King he is innocent in his first interview since being charged with sexual abuse.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me.